I saw this from Politico, and I don't know if they're going to ban TikTok, but I personally think TikTok should be banned for a variety of reasons. And there's a difficult question, but we don't want to curtail free speech. Politico reports, will TikTok be banned? Some Dems say not so fast. A number of House Democrats and at least a few senators remain unconvinced that singling out the Chinese-owned app is the best course of action. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know exactly, but let me explain to you why I think this is happening. I think the Democratic Party and the culture war, cultural left, represent zombification, social zombification. Zombies crave only to spread the zombie disease. There's no end goal. So if you look at the issue of TikTok, there's legitimate problems with allowing a CCP product into the hands of our children. The cultural manipulation. In China, the kids there, their version of TikTok has educational, science, that kind of stuff. Really great for our young developing mind. In the United States, there's young women who think they're birds saying they're a bird person and their pronouns are bok bok or something like that. There's the woman who's like frog self pronouns. These things are being propagated on the American version, which is literally harming vulnerable people to the point where you notice a lot of the trans people, the trans species people who actively want surgeries are autistic and extremely vulnerable. TikTok is doing that. You then have the data spying component. The fact that Democrats would defend this, despite the fact that there are clear, obvious, and objective problems with it, shows the zombification of the party. If it empowers them, they don't care the damage it causes. They want to extract from the system. So I think it should be banned. And the main reason is not so much the data spying, which I think is a problem, but the cultural influence. And that's probably why the social zombies want to maintain it. It spreads social zombism and mental illness. So this is a big issue right now. If we want to win the culture war, there is a political and technological component right here. Granted, I think creating culture is the number one way to do it and pushing back, but it's hard if the mechanisms for delivering that content are controlled by, say, the CCP.
What's interesting is, first of all, I heard earlier, somebody mentioned to us, I mentioned the fact that China has a different algorithm for their version of TikTok than we do, right? And somebody said that Andrew Schultz said that he started that as a conspiracy theory. He said that was actually him that started the STEM rumor that they had a different version of the algorithm. Is that even if that's true, it doesn't matter because the damage it's doing here in America, whether China was getting the same stuff as we are or not, I can't say if that's true. Somebody said that to us when we were on the show earlier. I think a lot of it's also the addictive nature of it. As much of you talk zombification, I talk the addictive nature of phones, of technology, and just how much damage it's doing for people to have to use this technology constantly, all the time, every day.
Well, let me just say, I mean, if espionage isn't the issue, I got to ask then, what makes TikTok different from what Tim's talking about than YouTube Shorts, which is basically adopting the same delivery system as TikTok, highly addictive, short videos. I mean, essentially, it's the same thing. It's the same product. So why is that not a problem and TikTok is?
That's a good point. And that's why this bill that's been introduced into the Senate, it's called the Restrict Act, is so dangerous because there really isn't much of a difference in these companies. If you start generally targeting social media companies for people doing things you don't like on those networks, it gives you carte blanche to just start ending networks, ending TikTok, ending Twitter. We're banning YouTube because somebody on YouTube said that an election was fake. Like, I'm reading this bill. It's called the Restrict Act. Maybe we can pull this up at some point. And there's a few sections in the Restrict Act that are completely insane. Section 3, what do we have? Section 3(1)(c) is fucking insane. It's Section 3(a)(1)(c). What it says is, oh my God, this is so crazy, dude. This is like the Patriot Act for technology, basically. We cannot allow this kind of
What does it do?
Power. It gives the Secretary of Commerce the ability to, oh God, it's so, okay, so let's see, Section 3A. The Secretary, in consultation with the relevant executive department and agency heads, is authorized to and shall take action to identify, deter, disrupt, prevent, prohibit, investigate, or otherwise mitigate these technologies, is what they're saying. If they pose an undue or unacceptable risk of interfering with the result or reported result of a federal election. And they're saying, like, if a person, this is any covered transaction by any person or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. So any American citizen that says an election was fake on Twitter means that they can go into mitigating any mitigating act that they can take to solve that? Meaning they could shut Twitter down.
No?
I don't think that Andrew Schultz thing is true. I mean, the reporting going back talks about how the algorithm is
Yeah.
controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. So I pulled up Fox, multiple sources.
I had always heard that they had said that they had a different algorithm in China than we have for our version of TikTok. It was just something somebody said earlier, and I said, I could see somebody like leading with something like that, making a joke like that, and it catching fire somehow.
There's no way for them to
but
know.
there was
It's-
also reporting like
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago, which we talked about. So this is probably like 2 years ago, about how they were specifically trying to ban feminists and feminist ideas from their schools and stuff like that. So maybe the specific concept of academia, of STEM content, he may have made up. I don't know. I can't verify
There's no
that.
way to know. There's no way to know. We don't have access to the
But I mean,
algorithms,
if
there's no way to know.
so Joe Rogan made the claim, which popularized it.
Yes.
So perhaps
Yeah.
Schultz lied to Joe, and then Joe ran with it. But there is previous reporting that where people are saying Douyin is China's version of TikTok has a very different algorithm that doesn't allow this kind of content. It doesn't specify STEM or anything like that, though.
Think of all the influencers that will be out of a job if they ban it here in America.
They
what will
should.
they do? What will they do?
But you don't make real money on TikTok.
Yeah.
You make like.
They push it towards brand deals, though, right? A large amount of following gets them more content with other types of products that they sell through their.
Let me put it this way. You can make money on TikTok. You can make money on Instagram. In terms of social media, I think YouTube is the highest like view to dollar ratio. And it's still crappy. Podcasts are the best. Audio version podcasts have like the best CPM. If you want to make money on ads and sponsorships, it's audio podcasts.
Instagram Reels actually do fairly well for mid-level creators and down, right? Probably not for the larger ones because there's a cap on how much you can make per month.
Facebook does way better. So putting your videos on Facebook makes like 10 times the money of Instagram. Like per viewer. That was weird. Don't ask me why. I don't know.
Well,
and TikTok was completely worthless. That's why I personally think TikTok, in my personal opinion, I believe it is probable that TikTok's followers are fake and intended to socially manipulate young people.
Dude, this is coming out of China, which said that they had zero COVID. They were like, we have no more COVID now. It's all done. Like, they just lie, analytically lie.
I think one of the biggest black pills for me was when somebody on Facebook, like long before I got rid of Facebook, was like actually said China's got the right idea by locking people in their homes. I'm like, that's enough internet for today. Like somebody I've known for a long period of time.
Here's what's going to happen. There's going to be another lockdown. And then someone's going to make a video on TikTok and it's going to say, I feel kind of bad. This doesn't seem like a good thing to do. We shouldn't be locking down. Then their phone's going to go, and they're going to look, and it's people going to be saying, they're going to get a bunch of notifications from people being like, this ain't it, bro. You're wrong. Are you trying to destroy the planet? Bro, you're so off. I can't believe I ever followed you. Then they're going to be like, oh, what's happening? Why is everybody mad at me? Then they're going to make a video and being like, I thought about it, man. Like, we probably do need to lock down. And then like, wow, you're so smart. You're so smart. That's what the bots do.
Sargon posted like a poll the other day that said a bunch of people in Britain said, when they said like, do you believe that the lockdowns were a mistake? And most of them said no. I don't know how big the sample size was in a poll like that, but like even with hindsight being 2020, it's just you're living in a different world than people who intake a different set of news to you. So somebody watching CNN or over there, I guess the BBC, they don't understand things the way you understand about what's been going on in the world. So functionally, they might see another lockdown as a good idea because they just don't get that things are different now.
Straight up, it's a manipulation tool, TikTok. We don't have access to the algorithm, so we don't know what it's feeding us, why it's feeding us, what it's feeding us. We don't know what's getting tracked with our data. So that stuff needs to be opened up. We need to see that code. That I understand we could use the government to force open, but to do these dumb, bland, general legal things where it gives them, they can mitigate any system that, quote, poses an undue or unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States.
Ethan,
Are you kidding me?
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
Do you use TikTok?
I have a TikTok, but I don't use it. I'm too much of a boomer. Sorry. I'm on YouTube. That's
I think you're a Gen Xer.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah.
But it's like you don't need to see the code to know that doom scrolling is bad. That like you'll find yourself like 10 minutes go by and you're like, holy crap, what the hell have I been doing for the last 10 minutes? And like I go through phases like that, right? Where like not TikTok, but like there's a difference between posting content and then where you find you've just been scrolling and looking at nothing important for 15 minutes. You're not even really engaging with what you're looking at, but you always feel worse for wear when you're done. And that's just as much as you're talking about as it incentivizes people to act or promote bad behavior or to promote unhealthy behavior, it is mentally damaging for your brain, even if you're taking in general content, to sit there and doom scroll for long periods of time.
What is that thing called you talk about all the time? Apoptosis?
Apoptosis is when a cell programs itself to die because it has no more function in the system.
I feel like Democrats are the party of that, right? Like every single thing, I shouldn't say everything, but like most of their policies are just about killing their constituents. Like abortion, sterilization, or now TikTok. It's like promoting the things that maximize the likelihood an individual suffers and then dies.
That, or just the fact that people who use it tend to vote that way, and it encourages them to reach out to more people.
But that's what I mean. Like, if their policies result in people ending their bloodlines, they're like just basically the Democratic Party is the great filter of social Darwinism.
Well, that's what they talk about with LGBTQIA philosophy, right? They don't give birth, they recruit.
And then the people who are resistant to those ideas have families and persist, and their bloodlines continue.
I worry sometimes, though, like we've talked about how they say Gen Z is going to be the first generation in a long time that will be more conservative. I don't know if that's bared out to be true. But a lot of times I wonder, it's like the power of social media. You can have all the kids you want. That kid is still going to have a phone at 12 years old. If the parents don't do the right thing, that kid's still going to have a phone too young, and they're going to have access to material that's very damaging them to have access to if they don't have parents that are showing them the right way to live.
You got to get out of the cities. You got to homeschool your kids.
Yep.
But let's talk about some of the stuff that we can do in pushing back. It's not just about complaining on the internet like we often do. So a few things. We did a podcast episode of The Culture War. Bill Ottman was here. We were talking with James Lawrence, lawyer. We are suing California because California passed a law that has requirements on big tech platforms, are basically requiring censorship, which negatively impacts me as a media company and content creator for distribution on these platforms. And then Bill, who's the CEO of one of these big platforms. So we're actually taking those steps to do something because we're not just sitting around doing nothing. We're likely going to be entering litigation, filing lawsuits against Bandcamp for terminating our account because they've created a whole slew of problems for us and all of the tens of thousands of people who've purchased music. I think it may be in the thousands, possibly tens of thousands. So it's created a disaster. You know, and the way we described it is like, if you have like if you go to a mall and you sign a contract to open up a mall store and sell a product, and then without breaking any of the rules of the mall's contract or any of the deal, one day you walk up and they've pulled the gate down, locked it shut, they've changed the locks, and you're like, I've got stuff in there, and they're like, too bad it's ours now, and you're like, yo, at the very least you have to give me my stuff back. Like, you can't just take my stuff.
What was the reason they gave you?
None.
Why they didn't give you one?
So we don't even know if they're still holding our money. We don't know if they're still distributing our content or hosting our copyrighted works without a permission or profiting off of it because they've communicated nothing. So our only course of action is going to be that's what I'm saying in the mall analogy. If they shut the store and we know for a fact our stuff is in there, and we do because we had music on the platform. Mm-hmm. Well, so the first thing is, you have to let us in to go and check to see where our stuff is. We own the rights that's our copyrighted work. Mm-hmm. With the mall, they'd let you go in and say, look, your stuff's not there. I mean, granted, if you have an ice cream machine and you didn't get it, it's there. With us, the problem now is we can't contact any of the people who bought from us, not directly, so we don't know how to refund if they need a refund. So if they don't have the music, then Bandcamp took a percentage of the money that transferred and then took the music away from the people. Okay, that's a problem. Because now we've got that's like theft or something. I don't know. That's interesting. And then if they didn't take the music away, now I've got a problem because they're hosting my copyrighted content and profiting off of it by hosting it on their platform for people without my involvement. So we've got a legal issue that needs to be answered by the courts. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.